How's it going, guys? About to fight Dominus, part of my Gauntlet practice. Don't have the increased damage on here, but I've reserved half of my life to account for that, so effectively, this is 100% increased monster damage with the amount of life I have. Having 1200 life in Act 3 is pretty insane from a softcore player normally. But if you take the time, you get Determination, you get Grace, put them both on. Cap your resistances, like, this is nothing. It's nothing to worry about. If you can get to the point where you can throw on those two auras, it's fine. Having cap lightning res is good too. I'm only at 70 instead of 75. They don't have damage, but it's surprisingly not as bad as I was expecting. I think I a little bit overcompensated for things, but that's okay. Because the point of it is to not die. If the bosses take longer, that's fine. As long as you can survive it, you're fine. You just have to take your time, go through all the steps. Like, put on some armor gear before you fight Brutus. You know you need cold res to fight Merveil. Cap your resists in Act 2. And then when you get to Act 3, find yourself some mana reservation efficiency and get Determination and Grace on. Whatever you gotta do to make that happen. Now as a raider, I have to complete the library quest in order to get Determination. AoE is scary. Yeah, you just gotta use all the tools at your disposal. There's Archnemesis. You have your crafting bench in your hideout. You can craft life or resistances on gear. You're picking up lots of rare gear and vendoring it for transmutes and alterations and stuff. Like, you can upgrade your gear pretty nicely. Like, I've crafted lightning res here. Crafted life on this ring, life on this. Actually, still have an open slot. I should have crafted lightning res on that. But, like, I've grinded, used as many essences on bases as I could to get to this point. And this boss is going to have double the life that it does right here. So, you really need to be able to survive in these fights. That's what's going to be required to make through the Gauntlet. But I can't really say enough about Grace and Determination. You can get those things, you're going to be pretty set. I'm like, a lot of time I'm league starting, I'm coming in here with about the same amount of life, 600, 700 something. Without capped resistances, and like, you get hit, you're pretty much dead. But you throw on some defense auras instead, easy peasy. And the next, like, the big challenge, like, after you get past the Weaver in Act 2, really comes with Piety and Doedre in Act 4. We'll look at that next. Another big tip I can give you guys, when you're going to lab, like, I don't intend on going into lab until I can get a stone golem. And 100% I want to have steel skin. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think what 100% increased monster damage is going to mean, I think the traps might deal double damage. At least, like, with the bleeds and things. What steel skin does is it will remove, it grants immunity to bleeding. So if you get bled and you, like, I have my steel skin on left click, I can move and it will remove the bleed. Even if I don't have a bleed remove flask, which I actually do. But that's something to keep in mind for sure. Because these traps can be annoying. And then the stone golem will help you, like, not get obliterated by this stuff. I want to find, like, a ground trap. Actually, I have to do this stuff. Because my build has to farm chests in normal lab for a weapon. Garo can also be pretty scary, especially depending on what you get out of here. Because multi-proj, he's going to double the amount of, like, adds he spawns. But I'm pretty sure, like, that is a spell. You can block that with spell suppression. But if you're in here with determination, like, you should just be fine, regardless. Yeah, that still does a lot of damage. You get those multiple projectiles. Then yeah, he's gonna spawn adds all over the room. I'm trying not to kill the golems here because I want the key, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Makes not having phasing kind of an issue in this fight, but what can you do? Okay, here we go. We can find some traps. So these traps do a lot of damage, especially when shocked. I think I was shocked. Yeah. Having the stone golem helps mitigate that because it gives you extra life regen. You gotta be careful. Getting some endurance charges with Enduring Cry can help a little bit as well, but don't let it catch you off guard, is my advice. Curious lockbox. I need that. Ah! Traps are disgusting. Another thing is, you probably don't want to come in here without being fire res capped. Because the degen off this, it's not as bad as the traps, but that's like with the stone golem with capped fire res, like I'm still taking that damage. It's kind of nuts. Every time I'm leveling a raider, I always take the onslaught first, which I'm going to do here. But if you're less confident than I am going through here, like this is going to speed me up getting to maps. The big reason I take it. And Cold Snap has terrible cast speed. Onslaught helps with that. Getting Quartz Infusion will get you extra big chance of spell suppression, get you phasing. Phasing lets you run through enemies. Makes it, you're not going to like collide on enemies and get multi-projectile spammed and nonsense. And this node right here is the reason that I play Raider, for the permanent phasing. Like, without that, I'd probably play a different class. But I have a hard time like playing the game without having the permanent phasing, so that's there. And then that leads you towards the ailment immunity as well. But I'm going fast. Now I'm at Act 4 Piety. This fight intimidated me for so long and so many gauntlets, but it's not as bad without the physical as extra. It is going to have 100% increased damage, so I'll mention it again. That is why my life is being half reserved. As close as I can make it anyways. So that, like, effectively, I have 1600 life right here, but the damage is going to be proportional to my full life bar on this half, if that makes sense. So we have to survive this. I'm pretty sure, like, coming in here with determination so that you have decent chunk of armor, you're going to be fine in here. We'll get the stone golem out. Now, if you stay close to her, she'll kind of auto-attack you. And then, but if you get too close, and she attacks with these balls, you don't want those too close to her. Like this. You don't. This is not what you want. Because when she starts this beam, it's going to shred people if they're not prepared for it. You don't want to be running circles through that beam. And the farther you are away from Piety, when she has that spinning beam, the harder it is to, like, the faster you have to be going in order to hold it up. But during this phase, right, if you're far away, she targets where you're at. So if you stay close during the beam, you're going to be fine. But if you're far away, the balls are going to come far away. Like that. So you want to, like, try and keep this middle space clear, if possible. And then since I'm doing, like, vortex damage, this is the phase where I try and get all my damage in. And I try to place those balls far away by staying far away here. I don't like the fact that she was close to that wall either. And this boss already has a lot of life, and this boss is going to have double the HP in this upcoming gauntlet from what it's being shown here. Ow. I got hit by one of those attacks. Made it through the evasion. This stuff hurts. Let's check the beam's damage. That hurts too. But I came in here with determination, and a majority of what Piety does here is physical damage. So it's survivable. Now that took a big chunk of my half damage. It's going to take a proportional chunk of your full life in this upcoming gauntlet, Archnemesis League. So, like, if it's taken 60-70% of my half-life, it's going to take 60-70% of my full life once we actually get into the gauntlet. So, scary fight. But that's not as scary as what comes next, which is Doedre. Doedre is the worst. Claims a lot of lives in gauntlets. So we're going to try and just go hunt Doedre and see what happens. Doedre is usually right here. Yeah. Okay, so multiple projectiles on this with extra AoE. That means they're going to overlap and shotgun you. Number one rule, stay out of the red zone. You get in this red vulnerability zone, like, this is how you die. If you're cursed with vulnerability and you get hit with 3 projectiles at once, that's how you die. Alright, and now I gotta fix all my auras and stuff. Like, you cannot get hit with that in here. Like, even if you're 100% spell suppression, I don't know that it's enough. I need this. Is that everything? I think it is. Alright, so we now know, stay out of the red. If you like, if the curses change spots, you stay out of the red. You can try and use these boulders to protect yourself. Like, my plan here is use Creeping Frost. Creeping Frost is going to run after Doedre. And maybe I can do enough damage. And let me get hit here. Yeah, not getting cursed by vulnerability. It's survivable if you have determination. Cursing Doedre, and they're like, the vulnerability curse moved. So, like, as long as you stay out of that, and I think cursing Doedre gives her extra damage as chaos. So, like, yeah, even outside the vulnerability, that hurts a lot. Ugh. I'd like to try and, like, give her, like, a totem or something to, like, focus targets on. But, like, there's really no good answer to this other than don't get hit. I've got invulnerability, I gotta move. keep cursing Doedre anyways, just because I'm crazy. But just play it safe. Take your time. Try as hard as you can not to get hit. Like, honestly, like it's worth practicing like before you do the gauntlet, because if there's anything that's gonna catch you off guard and get you, it's Doedre, 100%. Like, even if you're prepared and know what you're doing, you can get blindsided. Just get caught in the wrong spot, the wrong time. You get hit by all three of those at the same time, and then you're dead. Last gauntlet was worse because she had 5 projectiles, and now I'm in the red. Okay, it moved. But you also don't want to stand still. Like, because if you stand still, she targets the... Well, she fired 5 on that one. The middle projectile will target you. So if you try and keep on the move, that'll help. And then over leveling, especially if you're using spells like I am, over leveling, you get extra damage on your spells, on your auras as well. But again, the big thing, don't stand the vulnerability curse. Don't stand still and get hit by all 3 like I did at the very beginning. You will die. Absolutely. And I'm built like super tanky. Like, it'll get you. Now we'll do Malachai. When Malachai first came out and we were all terrible at the game, like, it wasn't unheard of to have like 2,000 life coming into this fight, because it was like we didn't have the skills yet to get around everything. Now I will mention, in this fight, the golem will get you killed. This golem can run up and start attacking Malachai, and look, that attack gets targeted by the golem. So I don't like to bring a golem into this fight for that reason alone, because you don't want to get blindsided by that. You want to know when Malachai is going to do that attack, and he's only going to do that attack if you're standing on top of him. If you stay away from Malachai, you're not going to get hit by that attack, ever. But I want to test, how's the damage on that? You come in here with physical damage reduction, maybe you can take that. Maybe I suppress spell damage. We'll test it again. Still survived it. So, just determination. It's gonna save you here, pretty much. This is like half cold damage, that tendrils. So when he throws his scepter down here, he's not going to do that attack in the second phase. You don't have to worry about it as much, and so I'm going to bring my golem back out. And then again, I mentioned, like, it's going to be double this life on unique enemies, so yeah, this gauntlet's going to be pretty gnarly. But my thought process is, if you know what you're getting into, you know you can come in here and you're not gonna die. Who cares if the fight takes 10 minutes? If you get through it, you're through it. You're on to the next thing. If you have a totem of any kind, you can drop totems on those runes on the ground to clear them, so you don't have to run over them. Because running on those, they can hurt a little bit. But yeah, you can use a totem to proc them. But still, it just comes down to, like, oh, I've got determination on. I have some kind of physical damage mitigation. This fight's really not going to phase me. Like, one of the nastiest things he does is that attack right there. He throws multiple projectiles that all can overlap. Like that. I want him to target me with it, but he's targeting the golem. And you never want to stand in this. I think that maybe that's an attack and I evaded it. But if you stay on the move, you're really never going to get hit by those projectiles that he lobs across the room. Those, yeah, I moved out of it. I'm trying to stand in it. I'm trying to get hit by it. Yeah, those. It's not as near as anywhere close to as dangerous as Doedre is. For sure. That's why it doesn't seem that bad at all, honestly. Alright. There we go. If you can make it through this, like, you can make it to maps provided you don't get one shot by, like, Act 9, Act 10, like, Innocence, dude. It's, at least in my opinion, I've never had any... If I make it past this point, I can make it to maps. Every single time. Like, like, getting through Act 1, getting past the Weaver, and getting through Act 4, mostly Doedre, then you can make it to maps. Everything else is pretty much your normal thing. So, I'm going to keep going. If anything else pops in my mind, I'll keep adding stuff to this. Once you get to the Chamber of Innocence in Act 5, yeah, you're probably going to want to farm this zone until your resists are going to be capped in Act 6. So after Kitava, you lose 30% of all your resistances. So you want to have at least 105 of all the resistances, or as close to it as you can, before you leave this zone. Because this zone is like the best for farming. As well, you can start to find... what are they called? Delirium mirrors here. So you can get extra currency from those. And then up on every single one of these raised platforms, there's going to be a magic pack. So it's really easy to find rare items in here. And if you find any binding orbs, this is normally the place where I'd recommend using them on items that you're like purchasing from the vendor, like good bases that you could potentially use, like for whatever color gear you need, as well as probably where I'm going to start using all of this Archnemesis stuff. I did already get a tabula from a Berserker piece. If you put the Berserker in there first, you get 4 uniques. You can farm a tabula pretty easily like that. I haven't scienced it myself. You can probably farm this in like early Act 1, but early Act 1 is also really scary because you don't have resistances and life and auras and things to keep you alive. And I really don't think these are too terribly scary. They're not going to have the like crazy life like Rogue Exiles will, being unique enemies, Beyond bosses, Betrayal Syndicate members. These, like, even this is level 43, like Berserk, like, it's not going to have extra life. It's going to die just like this. Yeah, get uniques. Uniques vendor for Alks. Alks make 4 links that you find into potential gear upgrades. Like, my loot filter shows me 4 links that drop every single one of any base. I use that for leveling. So if I get Alks or Essences, which is what I'm going to add to this next, is we're going to add one of the arcane buffers. Now, this is going to give it an energy shield. When the energy shield wears off of this enemy, it's going to have this radial pulse. Like that can hurt you. There we go. And then there, we're getting essences. What is this? Light radius gives you damage. Oh, but here's a leather belt. Like, my leather belt has 9 life, 21 lightning res on it. So I could probably get a much better belt. It's gonna be a chance to avoid being shocked on here. Didn't happen, so we'll go for the next one. Like, I get to farm here to like level 50 plus easily. If I don't have the resistances and confidence to go into Act 6, I'm gonna keep farming here. I'm a little under on fire res too. I'm 3 under right now. Which is why that fire's hurting me a little bit more than comfortable. What else we throw on here? Make it bigger. Gargantuan. Give me currency. So when this ES squares off, I like to try and dip, but I'm pretty sure its spell suppression blocks that as well. The worst part about playing Cold Dot on a raider at this stage is you cannot get Bone Chill until Act 6. The Act 4 vendor does not give it to you after you help Diala. We get one more of these. Come on. I'm not really utilizing the tabula right now. Just for my own practice. But I absolutely would be taking advantage of that 6 link if I had it, because that'd be some damage, and then I dodge that pulse from the arcane buffer. I think I just gave it life leech by putting vampiric on it too, so it's probably making this painful. Ow. Go. Oh, I made a rejuvenating. Wonderful. Lots of good stuff coming out of that. Definitely worth picking those up. Like, I have a bunch of jewelry that I can get out of there as well. I've been picking up the Stormweavers. I really haven't been picking up the others. Because gear that's not linked really, or socketed, doesn't really help me at this stage. Also try for wands if I get woe essences. 2 stone ring. Maybe. What kind of essence I get? Minion one? Minion ones are bad, but... Nope, I just rolled fire res. This... Reed one I want to save for an armor piece. But yeah, there's really no rush. You get 10 days. Rushing through this into Act 6 when you're not prepared. You're like, if you're a god gamer, go for it. Like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just trying to give advice. Take your time. This is more of an endurance race than a sprint, so get through it safely, and you won't have to re-level. Extra movement speed craft here too. And yeah, once I get to the end of this, I'm not going to worry about this boss until I'm ready to go to Act 6. We're just going to portal out, vendor all these uniques, try to craft more gear, purchase gear from Utala. Every single level I want to check for potential gear upgrades. If I find like a really good base that I want, let's say this Raven's Mask, for example. It's like item level 38. This one's item level 45. Callous Mask is technically better. So I probably wait, and then I could Binding Orb something like this, guarantee that it's 4-linked. Easy peasy. So let's do that. I don't need any of this stuff. You're playing melee, finding one of these might be pretty nice. But anyways, we're gonna buy this mask. Then we can use armor scraps on it. Only takes 4. You get a binding orb. There you go. Boom, you got a 4-linked rare. That one's not great, but it's a good base. Maybe it's worth using a chaos orb on. Oh, look at that. There's fire res, there's cold res, there's chaos res. Extra evasion energy shield. I can go to my hideout and I can go craft life on this. Only 15 to 25 until the beacon in Act 6, but there we go. There's a helmet upgrade. Ish. Pretty close. Actually, this would, like, be good. Getting the chaos res is going to be really nice as well. So, yep, farm Chamber of Innocence. Go over and over and over until you're ready. I'll finish this one off with Kitava. I left the Chamber of Innocence at level 51. I did a lot of toying around with my Archnemesis stuff. I found out that, like, while I have this level 12 Stormweaver, if I slap in like 3 level 40 something, like I have a hasted plus Stormweaver makes Storm Strider, which gives 3 jewelries each time, like this one. So if I have like a 45 of this, then I throw in another like this 46 plus this 44, and then at the end I slap in this one. It'll give me the average and then spit out a way higher level Storm Strider, so I can get higher level jewelry that way. So I went up with a pretty nice belt. I don't think I changed my gloves or boots or ring. Maybe that ring, I don't even know. I replaced this. Helmet's still the same. Like, maybe it was just the belt that hit. Like, I don't know. Like, nothing super major. I did get a Biscos. I didn't do too much with the uniques. I didn't need anything. I was actually playing in the league and not messing with this crazy life regen nonsense. I would also be wearing these gloves that hit big. I really want to put these on, but we'll kill Kitava, and I'll edit and upload this. And then I want to try and get to Endless Hunger before the Gauntlet starts. So I'm gonna like take off after this. If I get that done and get my testing done, maybe I'll go back and record like an uncut run from Act 1 through to Act 3 maybe. Because I feel like that's kind of missing from this video. But I did that without recording, so that's the like real part to practice, if any, is getting through Act 1 and Act 2. But like things are golden at this point. Still got great physical damage reduction, evasion, 20% spell suppression, and then I've got a Jade and Granite Flask now. So that puts me 84, 83. Okay. I could probably just tank this stuff if it wasn't an attack and I wasn't like evading it. Hurt me, please. Yeah, it does nothing if you got the physical damage reduction. It's a piece of cake. So now, like, I'm free to just, like, haul through to, Act 10. What about this? Yeah, it didn't even get through my energy shield. Now that hurt a little bit. Oh yeah, there we go. That's going to do it for me for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving it as a like, as it really helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe, make sure you don't miss more videos from me, and yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Cheers.